Right, this next one is a nifty wee trick, and I have to credit my best friend who is also a maths teacher, Christina, for this one. Christina's from Mayo, and I can hear her scream this in her Mayo accent. If you don't know the answer, make it up. So let me explain this. We're saying play the game here, be strategic. So we know from exam paper questions that most question parts are standalone. They don't domino into one another. So for example, part A doesn't always go into part B, and you don't always need that answer for part C, but sometimes it does. So let's say you don't know how to do part A of a question, but you need that number in part B or later parts. What are we doing? If you don't know the answer, make it up. So let me show you what I mean by this as to how we can strategize in our exam to figure this out. So this should help you in a situation where, say, for example, you're looking at a question. I can't do the first part, but I can do most of the rest of it. So this is how this strategy would look. I'm not going to get into it, okay, but to summarize this question, we have two functions for populations at our higher level question here. We have an S and we have a K in it. And in part A there, it asks you to find S. Let's just say you can't figure out S, but you know how to do part B. You must do this. If you don't know the answer, make it up. Say S is 10. Don't know what S is, say S is 10, pick a number. What we do then is bring that value into the next part so that when we're using the function, instead of S here, I'm using 10e to the 0.1t times 10 to the power of 6. And then you'll go off and do your part B using that wrong answer from up above. So to rationalize this, in part B, you've done the correct thing because you knew how to do it, but you've used the wrong number. So what will happen here by doing this is you will get 0 marks in part A because you've done the wrong thing. You have a random number. That's not what it is. But because you've done the right thing in part B with that wrong number, you're not going to be penalized again. So the examiner may give you up to full credit here for that answer. You could get high partial or you might just get mid depending on the scales. But I hope it's clear here. If you don't know the answer to one part, bring it down into the other. The same applies for ordinary level. Let's say in this question, you can't do part 1, but you know how to do part B. Make up that the net income is €100,000 and use that number down in part B or in part 2, that you need the net income to complete that. So use your 100,000. Yes, you will get no marks whatsoever for the first part, but you can get up to full credit depending on the situation from the examiner for using that wrong answer. So this is particularly useful in those busy kind of geometry, trigonometry and area and volume questions where we might not have a measurement and you had to find it. So if you don't know it, make it up. But you must be consistent in using it later on to get that credit.